A very interesting chart pattern is what's called a cup with a handle. It actually looks like a cup with a handle on its side is the idea. And what makes it interesting is it's not only a chart pattern by nature, but it's combining these price patterns like you'd have in a chart pattern and trends and all that with things really you have to have certain other factors or indicators that are part of that. Volume levels, how much trading and buying and selling is going on, as that cup forms, as we'll see here in a moment. And you're going to use an indicator, the moving average indicators as well too, to help kind of confirm all this as well. So they all kind of work together, and we'll walk through how all this works, including the moving average a little bit, so you can see how this all pulls together. And it is a continuation pattern. So the idea, if the trend, and the idea of a cup and handle is the trend, let's say it's going upward, cup and handle will form, and the trend will continue is the idea. So it's a continuation pattern and takes time to develop. So this is one that does take time to develop, but when it does, and if it does, it's a very, very strong indicator when it does. We'll walk through why that is from kind of the psychology of what's going on with investors and traders that's forming this pattern. And as I mentioned before, it's fun because it looks like a cup. So if you can start visualizing a cup on its side, not the downward one, but on its side with your cup and your handle, then that's kind of cool, right? It kind of is an interesting thing. So let's take a look at a strong indicator, cup with handle. So if you look at this here, this chart pattern, let's start off, let's see if we can guess. Let's do a little more guessing game. So look at it and just start looking at it. You're looking for a cup. So in a cup, let's say you're looking at its side, you'd have a cup that would hold a liquid, right? So you're looking for an indentation in this chart pattern, these price lines that are going on this upward trend. Can you see the part where there's a depression where you could maybe put some water or some, adult beverage if you like? And is there a handle that might be on the, looking at our screen, the right-hand side of that cup, because they're going from left to right as far as time? So that's what kind of the pattern looks like. If I put a little bit of a highlight on there, you kind of see how it's starting to form like a teacup, right? Like it's starting to form a cup around there is the idea. So that's what you're looking for, is that cup with the handle. But to get there, well, there's a lot of things that got to happen. So let's put a whole bunch of stuff on the chart and let's walk through it. So first off, let's start at the very far left. We've got to have an upward trend, right? And as you can see here, the general direction, if we were to draw more specific trend lines, but you can see that the slope is upward, the prices are getting higher. There's an upward trend. And then you can see that the bottom of the trading volume is kind of like this medium trading volume that you'd see looking over the history of the prices for your security, whatever trading volume it is. Some securities trade a lot all the time compared to others, but you're looking at this particular securities, horizontal or vertical bars at the bottom. And let's say this, blue part represents that range of volume, and it's kind of a medium volume, right? So it's on a nice upward trend, nothing exciting happening, but it's a nice, good upward trend. Maybe we bought in earlier and we're hanging in there. That would be terrific, right? That's maybe the idea. So we're seeing this happen. We're seeing this trend. And then it starts to reach a peak and starts to go downwards, and then it goes down in the cup part, and it starts to go sideways, right? So it doesn't go into full downtrend mode. It just starts to go sideways. The prices kind of bounce up and down a little bit in more of a flat part, forming in fact the bottom of the cup. And you'll see the trading volume is low on this. So you can see how they're all working together here, that the trading volume is low. And then as we go back up, you'll start to go back up, and then a handle forms. And that's when the handle forms, and certainly when there's the continuation pattern of the upward trend, we're back to this rising pattern, back to this upward trend. But one key part of that is that the trading volume is higher, right? So all of a sudden, a lot of people are trading it, and they're driving the prices higher. And then all along this, you're looking at this, you want to overlay on this is the simple moving average, or you can use a different type of moving average, like a weighted moving average. Look at the section around moving averages and learn more about moving averages. But basically, like let's say a simple moving average is looking over, let's say, the last 10 days or 10 periods, typically days, and saying what's the average prices. And really where that line comes in there is to form the bottom of the cup. We don't want those to go either too far, but we would rather they didn't break the simple moving average at all. But if they, or only just go a little bit below, just a little titch, we don't want it to go way below the simple moving average, because then we don't have a cup. We have more of a downtrend, or we have more of a V-shaped cup, which is what we don't want. We want more of a U-shaped type cup like we see here. So you're using that simple moving average to kind of help confirm and be a basis on that. And you can see how it follows along with the trend lines above it as far as that simple moving average. So what's happening here? So this is what it is, and you can trade off that, right? You could have either invested in the upward trend and then see the cup form, and you're hoping the cup forms, you hang in there, and then once you see the handle, you really hang in there because now you're going to be in an upward trend. Or maybe you're not in this security at all, and you see this cup forming, and then you see the handle, and you start seeing that sideways move in the handle, then you're starting to trade in there because you know an uptrend is coming, or you're hoping an uptrend is coming, and because it's a continuation pattern, and so you're buying in at that point as well. So you're either had bought in earlier and you're holding through the cup and handle phase, or you see the cup and handle forming, and now you're buying somewhere in that handle, or most likely you're buying, actually probably a better thing is you're buying a little bit slightly up in the cup, or excuse me, a little bit slightly after the handle, because you want to have that uptrend definitely form. But if you think about the psychology of what's happening here, is that we've had this nice uptrend and it's been going up. Well, we're going to start back on the left here looking at the volume and stuff. A nice uptrend, steady uptrend, buyers are buying, and it's just kind of a steady uptrend. And then it loses steam, right? That's what happens to chart patterns. They lose steam, and it starts it's going to continue later, but it starts to go reverse the other way. And then so the prices go down when people are taking profits, and maybe that's what's happening. Prices are going down, but there's a low trading volume. It's not like there's a lot of excitement. It's not like there's something bad that's happened and the trading volume's high, driving the prices way down. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of really getting low volume, kind of boring, just kind of moving along. Moves along the bottom of that simple moving average. The cup is, in fact, above the simple moving average line, but this cup is forming. But again, it's nothing like exciting going on from volume. Then the volume starts to pick up, and people are like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's picking up again. And then what happens is those who didn't sell, towards the bottom of the cup might be selling now at the top of the cup or along the handle, right? They can't decide which way to go. The buy, sell, there's a little bit of movement, but now there's more trading volume coming in. And so that's starting to move that handle a little bit. It might actually, start ticking up a little bit just itself. It doesn't have to be a fully horizontal handle, but it's going to be, and it usually isn't, in real world. But it's what's going to happen is you're going to start to have this high volume, and you're going to have this upward trend. So that's kind of what, and then people are like, oh, this was just a temporary setback, that cup part, maybe a pullback. If I held on, I'm just going to hold on and really now ride this upward trend. And other people are like, all right, they had this temporary pullback, handle formed, indecisiveness at the handle, definitely went into uptrend, and now I'm back in buying because I know that uptrend is going to keep rising above there. So that's kind of the psychology behind a cup and handle. Also, one thing to consider too is the longer the U shape of the cup, the more it's more predictable than a V-shaped cup. So if you see that that we have this long U there in the example that we're showing here with this cup, it looks like a U, but it's really kind of flatter and longer than if it was a real sharp V type of a cup. Also, the cup shouldn't be overly deep. The idea is you've had some indecision, you have some profit taking, but it shouldn't be driven way down low. It shouldn't certainly not be driven below the simple moving average line. That's what helps us with our cup. So it should not be overly deep. If it was really a deep cup, then it might be people are not as indecisive or taking profits. They might be an actual real trend reversal, and it's not really a cup and handle. It's actually something different going on. So look for U-shapes, longer U-shapes in the cups to be more confirming. And then also look that the cup is not overly deep on it, and that'll really help you well. So as you probably saw there, you're saying, well, that's a lot going on with a cup and handle. It looks nice, but I got to really wait for that pattern to develop. And that's true, and you have to let it develop. But as you can see, there's strong indicators and multiple indicators on top of indicators, so that it builds a great trading opportunity. So it might not be something you're trading every day, but if it kind of jumps out at you and slaps you in the face, like you might want to take notice of it because could be a great trading opportunity and to ride a long-term upward trend after a pause there in the cup.